Well, okay, I might be lying here. I love reading books ever since I was a kid. If I had to choose which medium to consume for the rest of my life, I would definitely choose books. Yet, reading is pretty useless and it didn't change much in my life. I used to read before bed without really marking anything relevant to me, and even if I did, I would never revisit things I thought were so important to me. I also used to summarize the things I learned while reading the book, still not revisiting or using the insights in my own work. So my understanding basically stayed the same, except for some facts I could vaguely remember or memorize. This was until I understood that your intention determines the quality of your reading. And I mean, ask yourself some questions here. What do you hope to get out of this book? Does it remind you of anything you've already seen? Or are you only reading it because the self-improvement bros told you to? If you want to make your reading meaningful and come to the same level of understanding as the author, you don't have to read your books, you have to study them. And this starts with picking a book you are truly curious about. Well, there is no right book to read, and you don't have to worry about picking the wrong one or reading something unknown. It doesn't even matter if it's fiction or non-fiction. To be honest, the most impactful books I've read yet have always been stories I could personally relate to. And your mind is always connecting the information in the book with your own experience. And you can trust this filter. Fear of not reading the right book almost always stems from comparison with other people or other books. But the lessons you need are already within yourself, and the books you read are just signposts to discovering them. You are exactly where you need to be on your unique journey, and it matters way more that you are present while reading than what exact book you read. Because remember, it's about training your mind and not the book in front of you. Just consciously decide whether you're reading for entertainment or understanding. And I don't want to put any of them on a pedestal. I'm still reading for entertainment to read more and to get my motivation back on track once I don't want to read a heavy psychological textbook, I would actually recommend buying yourself a physical copy of the book you want to study, so you can have a proper conversation with the author. And yes, you heard that right. I'm taking dedicated time throughout my day at my desk, not in bed, to have a conversation with the author. And I'm doing this by having a pen in my hand, so in case an idea strikes, I can quickly scribble it down into the margins of a page. You also want to underline the arguments of an author, so you can pick the book apart and actually understand the structure of it a little bit better. You're basically trying to build your own outline of the book here. But never stop reading a book because you can't seem to figure out what the author is trying to tell you. That's the best thing that can actually happen to you, since there's an obvious gap in your knowledge and you can fill it by researching and learning even more, so going deeper into the rabbit hole. I've read a lot of books that I've fully understood the second time around, and you can approach hard books by skimming through them at first and speed reading some of the passages so you can get a big picture understanding of the entire work before diving deeper into it and taking your time to fully digest it. I know this won't sit well with some of you guys, but don't love your books too much. Make them your own. Break their spine, write into them, put tabs into them, do anything that helps you to understand them in their entirety. Because books are not some holy grail or holy object you put on a pedestal. Absolutely demolish them. Because the point is, as I'm reading, I'm equally as much writing. And at first I'm writing into the book, of course, but as soon as space is running out, I'm switching to my Obsidian book note. And there are a few prompts that just guide me through my reading experience, so it's a bit easier for me. But I won't flesh out these ideas immediately. It's a place to archive all the important insights, and if similar ideas appear as I'm working through the book, that's where I'm getting into writing whole essays or video scripts about a certain topic. Obsidian, my note-taking app of choice, is brilliant because I'm able to connect different ideas, books, or notes with each other to strengthen my understanding even further. The more notes, the bigger your web of ideas that all relate to each other, and the easier and faster your researching process. As you can see, studying books is intense and takes a lot of time, but it's a non-negotiable if you want to take your reading to the next level. To give you an easy to follow checklist for your reading, here is a summary of the entire video. 1. Pick a book that spikes your curiosity. 2. Skim through the book and determine if you're reading for entertainment or understanding. This also tells you how fast to get through the book. 3. Have a conversation with the author. Make the book your own, write into the margins or a book note. 4. Underline the arguments of the author to build your own outline. 5. Reflect on the book by filling out the template and connecting it with other books or topics you've already worked with, if there's any. 6. Figure out what you can apply to your own life. 7. Teach it to others. It's YouTube in my case, but you can also just talk to yourself. After all of this, there's a pretty good chance that you understood the book you were trying to read. And even if not, that's perfectly fine too, because there's probably infinite rereadability, so you can learn from the same book throughout every single phase of your life. This video is just a quick overview of my entire process. And if you are interested in my Obsidian workflow or the templates, let me know in the comments below. If this video helped you in any way, may consider subscribing. I kiss your heart.